What Republicans are saying, and let me get this right, is that they don't care about what gets negotiated. They're against it no matter what. And not because they don't like what's in the bill. They're against it because Donald Trump, who they're all afraid of, told them they have to be against it. Trump wants to demagogue the border, to use it as a campaign issue, and to scare people by demonizing immigrants and peddling fear and hate. So our side will keep an open mind until these negotiations wrap up, but please spare us the outrage and indignation. The truth is out there for everybody to see. Republicans want inaction at the border because they want to make this a campaign issue for Trump. Trump, the guy who said he would build a wall and Mexico would pay for it, remember that guy? Remember that? Never even finished his stupid wall, by the way, and instead it was the American taxpayer who paid for what little of it was built.
We should be utilizing a heck of a lot more in this nation to generate power. Instead of picking winners and losers in the marketplace and throwing all the IRA money at green initiatives, we can improve the quality of life and standard of living of people around the globe with U.S.-produced natural gas exported through the export terminals that this administration wants to ban, because an indefinite pause is a ban. It's a ban on future investment, and it puts so much uncertainty around the globe.
We want to talk about uncertainty, the uncertainty that my Republican friends are creating because of this game they're playing with not only Ukraine's security, but the world security. And then you have a presidential soon-to-be nominee that everybody seems to be infatuated with on the Republican side, who jokes about, if NATO countries don't do what I want them to do, then Putin can have at them, do whatever he wants to them. So you want to talk about uncertainty in the world right now? There's that old saying, physician, heal thyself. And I would urge my colleagues that we have to get back to a point where, we actually bring these important issues that do create certainty in the world to the floor and let the House actually work its will and let people have an opportunity to vote yes or no. And instead, we have a small group of people on the fringe, the extreme right wing, who are calling the shots.
But right now, what we have are Democrats in the Senate wanting to hide behind a bill they know has no chance of moving through because, frankly, if it were passed, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are concerned about us campaigning on this, make it a political issue. If that legislation were passed, the issue would still exist. And what the former president knows is that the bill being negotiated in the Senate is not a good one. He's calling that out. But I can assure you, I don't take orders from the former president, nor do I take orders from Somalis in Minnesota. But some people do.
This is ridiculous. This is all theatrics. Shame on you for exploiting this issue. Shame on you for ginning up all this hate and all this, all this vitriol, and not wanting to be part of the solution, not wanting to do anything to fix it. I'm also puzzled by the fact, and I think I need to get I think I need to go to the Capitol physician and see if I can get a neck brace, because I have whiplash following the logic of some of my Republican friends.
One last point on this notion that somehow by rejecting the bill that the Senate was debating, and by the way, has not sent to us, the Senate is merely debating it. They're not even debating it yet. They haven't even proceeded to it yet. They haven't even gotten past cloture on proceeding to it yet. Why? Because it is fundamentally flawed. The bill does not do what my colleagues on the other side of the aisle were suggesting it does. So I'm sorry, you're getting punched in the head 10 times. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle want to say, well, sorry, we'll just start punching you in the head 5 times. Why won't you take that half a loaf? I'm sorry, that's not how that works.
The gentleman from Texas just took almost 10 minutes of my life, which I'll never get back, and still didn't get it right, which is basically that this move to impeach Secretary Mayorkas is a sham. There's no basis for this. Mr. Chairman, we've been hearing for months that Republicans care about border security. Bills every other week about the border. None of them ever become law. Press conferences and visits to the border amounting to nothing. Speeches and lectures about the border, all for show. Claims that Democrats don't care about border security, which is categorically false. But today I'm genuinely shocked because the Senate, at the urging of President Biden and in a bipartisan way, is working on an immigration bill to address border security. From what I hear, it's a tough bill, a bill that has things in it that I think might cause me a lot of angst. I'm not sure once I see the text if this is even something I can support. This is why people hate Washington. It's all theatrics from my friends on the other side. It's all for show, all so they can go on Fox News and blame President Biden for the border problems that they refuse to fix. Republicans wanted to cut customs and border protection personnel. They rejected President Biden's request for $106 billion for border security, and then they voted against funding for border security. And now they're against a border security deal before they even know what's in it. A deal, by the way, that conservative Republican senators say would be the toughest, strongest border security bill in a generation. Unless, I mean, maybe did I miss something? Is Tom Tillis a liberal Democrat now?
Ranking members, ranking.
I wasn't going to say anything, but the gentleman just talked about how our allies need certainty, and the world needs certainty. And I can't help but think of where we are right now when it comes to Ukraine. That we're letting Ukraine kind of dangle out there. Putin is salivating because he thinks that he'll have the green light to go in and invade Ukraine, and we're doing this here, and we're not even going to bring a bill on Ukraine to the floor, at least anytime in the near future. Originally, it was we're not going to bring a bill on Ukraine to the floor unless we had a bill to address some of the crisis at the border. Republicans, mostly Republicans, with Democrats, came up with a suggestion over in the Senate, which was dead on arrival here, and we were told that you don't need new laws to fix the border. So that excuse seems to have gone away.
Mr. Speaker, I missed a lot of what the gentleman from Virginia, the gentleman from Texas just screamed because I couldn't follow it all. But let me just say, for the record, Mr. Speaker, that this bill that's being worked on in the Senate, that somehow that does nothing. There's a CNN article that I'd like to insert in the record entitled "GOP Senators Seethe as Trump Blows Up Delicate Immigration Compromise." And the bottom line, Mr. Speaker, is that people like Tom Tillis, Senator Tom Tillis, I don't think he was a liberal Democrat, unless I missed something. Pretty conservative Republican. He said, don't pretend that this policy isn't strong. If you want to admit you're afraid to tell Donald Trump the truth, that's fine. But for you to take a look at this framework and say that it's a half measure, you're not paying attention or not telling the truth. That's Senator Tom Tillis, a very conservative Republican senator, saying that. It's not me, and I would say that to the gentleman from Texas. Senator Langford, is he now a Democrat? Is he now a traitorous to the cause, as we heard some of Republicans at a press conference yesterday, talk about those who are supporting a compromise? He said the other day in Face the Nation, he said, and I quote, that House Republicans actually do not want a change in the law because it's a presidential election year. We heard all year that we need to pass a bill in order to fix the immigration crisis at the border. And then last night in the Rules Committee, we're told we don't need a bill, we don't need a law. And then here we are today dealing with 4 more bills, by the way, that most of it's already covered in existing law. What is it? Do we need a law or don't we need a law? If we don't need a law, then what the hell are we here for? Why are we wasting our time? This is not a debate club, right? We're here to actually get things done. And if you want to be part of the solution, then be part of the solution. If you just want to complain for the sake of complaining, then just do it in your press conferences. Don't waste time here. Everything we have heard from the other side has confirmed that this impeachment is a predetermined political stunt. Again, this is the first time in American history an impeachment could go to the floor of the United States House of Representatives with no evidence, no proof, no elements of a crime, nothing at all. Not my words, Mr. Speaker. It's your own colleagues who say that. Again, a few more quotes. Jonathan Turley, a top Republican legal advisor, he says there is no there is also no current evidence that he, meaning Secretary Mayorkas, is corrupt or committed an impeachable offense. Donald Trump's own impeachment defense lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, and I quote, "I urge principled Republicans who care about the Constitution to oppose those in their party who are seeking to impeach and remove Mayorkas based on non-constitutional accusations." Republican leaders told their donors, behind closed doors that they were going to impeach Mayorkas before they even began their sham investigation. They raised money off of this. They promised Marjorie Taylor Greene last year that they were going to impeach no matter what in order to help Donald Trump to distract from his legal troubles and their own incompetence. And I get why they need to change the subject. Trump was the worst president in my lifetime, probably in history. He tried to overturn the election results when he lost. He said he wants to be a dictator, quote, on day one. And he invokes Adolf Hitler, saying immigrants, quote, poison the blood of our country. The worst jobs record since the Great Depression. Told everyone to drink bleach and take horse medicine during COVID. Has been indicted more times than elected. And is currently in trial for 91 felony charges. And that's after being ordered to pay $83 million after a jury of his peers decided he was a rapist. That's the leader of the Republican Party. That's who this impeachment is about, Donald Trump. Not Secretary Mayorkas, a good, honorable, decent man. Donald Trump, a corrupt, dishonorable, disgraceful man. This is all about helping Republicans rile up MAGA voters and distracting from their inability to govern and address the critical issues facing our country. Instead of legislating, they are being led by Marjorie Taylor Greene and the extreme MAGA chock-full of nuts caucus to pursue their baseless, extreme, and harmful impeachment charade that distracts from actually securing the border. Do we have a problem at the border? Absolutely. Democrats and President Biden want real comprehensive solutions to fix it, but the MAGA extremists have shown no interest in working with House Democrats to address the challenges facing the American people. What we need is Republicans to stop playing political games, and that's the exact opposite of what's happening here, the exact opposite of this cynical, reckless impeachment stunt. So we're going to continue as Democrats to put people over politics, to fight for issues that matter, to try to lower costs, grow our economy, and yes, to secure our border. And if Republicans decide they want to join us as partners in government to solve these challenges, we welcome that. And if they don't, there's an election coming up in November. But I would say history is going to judge this Republican majority. But I don't think we need to wait for that. The voters are going to judge us all in November. And I think people are going to look at this fraudulent impeachment, and they're going to look at Republicans' lack of accomplishments, and they are going to vote them out because of their incompetence, their extremism, and their refusal to work with Democrats to address the challenges our country faces, including the border. And as I said before, this entire impeachment stunt is an absurd, cynical exercise in extremism. I strongly, strongly urge a no vote on this rule and a no vote on the underlying resolution. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.